Good afternoon. A British journalist once asked me this question. What does UK life mean to you, Timothy? My answer was, since I escaped North Korea, the 13 years of my life in democracy, I discovered who I am, what I love and care about, and what choice I have, and what I stand for: faith, expression, speech, and opportunity. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Timothy Cho. I escaped twice and imprisoned 4 different prisons in China and North Korea during my persevering journey. I was born into a beautiful family in North Korea. Both my parents were history and math teachers in high school. I spent my days playing outside, swimming in the river with other kids, and watching TV. Until one day, I returned home and was frozen with fear because my parents were gone. They had escaped to China, and I was just 9 years old. I befriended other homeless kids, and they became my brothers and sisters. We slept at the railway station, on train containers, and on the street. One day, I took a 4-hour train ride to my uncle's house, and I saw cornbread and soup on the dining table. I felt so relieved knowing I was able to eat something. But they did not offer me any food, even though I was their close relative. That's how bad food shortages in North Korea in the 1990s. I left his house in tears. My grandmother was kind enough to take me in, and she taught me how to grow food in mountains. But I could not go to school or get a job because I was labeled the son of betrayer. My last hope for a normal life was to join the army, but that even was denied because of my son of betrayer tag. I was 17. My survival instinct told me I need to escape to China. Running away from my beloved homeland, friends, and memories left me feeling sad and in tears. But crossing the border was a moment of awakening. There were lights everywhere, an abundance of food, and many different kinds of clothes for young people to wear, things I had never seen in North Korea. A Christian missionary approached me in China, and he offered me a place to stay. But when I entered that missionary's house, the first thing I saw was a Bible and a cross and several North Korean children. That terrified me. I thought the missionary man was kidnapping me and sell me into slavery, because that's what we taught about Christians growing up in North Korea. So I ran away, not realizing that the missionary man was simply trying to help me. I joined a group of 18 North Korean refugees traveling north to Mongolia. Unfortunately, we were arrested at the Mongolian border. I still remember the moment when Chinese soldiers were shooting in our direction as we kept running toward the Mongolian border. Soon, we were sent back to North Korea. I was thrown into a small prison cell with about 50 prisoners. We did not have enough space to lie down. We slept sitting upright, leaning on each other's back. The next morning when I woke up, I realized that the man I was leaning against was dead. He died from torture, lack of medical care, and starvation. We were given just 2 scoops of noodle soup each day. His body was dragged out of the cell like a dead animal. And I still have nightmares where I hear my fellow inmates screaming and begging to leave. And I thought I was going to be killed like him. But miraculously, I have to say, I was released from jail. And I knew then I had to escape to China again. This was my second escape. This time, I met a group of 9 North Korean women refugees on a train in Beijing. Once we made to Shanghai, we climbed over the fence of an American school, and we asked the school principal to help us. But he couldn't. That was a public school. The Chinese police arrested us and sent us to Shanghai International Prison. And this was my 4th imprisonment. I knew if they sent me back to North Korea, I would die in prison or be executed in public. I decided I'd rather die by my own hand, so I swallowed many sleeping pills in the toilet. Instead of killing me, those sleeping pills gave me very good night's sleep. I shared a prison cell with 7 international inmates, and one of them was South Korean gangster. The general image of South gangster is very scary, and you don't even want to go nearby. This strange gangster, and after he heard about my situation, what was going to happen, and he suggested that I read the Bible and pray to God for my survival. I had never prayed before, so I asked him what to do, and he said, "You just say Amen at the end of your wishes." That's how he taught how to pray. I didn't even know who God was, or even if we existed. But where else could I turn in the darkest, coldest, scary, and the most terrifying prison cell? After 2 months of praying, every day 2 men visited me in the prison. They told me that one of the Shanghai International School students had written about our arrest to a journalist. The BBC, CNN, the Washington Post, dozens of news organizations reported on it. And now China faced the international pressure not to send us back to North Korea. When I left the prison cell, one of the prisoners said, we are seeing a miracle happen in front of our eyes. And I took a plane to the Philippines via another country to a new life in the UK finally. It was my first time on an airplane with a diplomatic passport. Someone who was born in prison country North Korea didn't even know what a passport was, but he was able to get on an airplane, and I got to fly first class. Probably if God had preserved my first flight ticket. Now I live in the United Kingdom. I spend a lot of time thinking about the kindness of strangers. Do I know you? Or have you met me before? But I know you all have a beautiful heart. The North Korean men and women who shared their food with me as a homeless child, and my grandmother who took me in, and the Christian missionary who came and offered me a place to stay, and the student in Shanghai who emailed the journalist, the South Korean gangster, and the diplomat who got me out of prison. And I have survived upon the power of your love, and humanity, and the beauty. It shows the power of your love, how much you can do to help North Korean brothers and sisters, as well as those human rights defenders today who are standing here on this stage and around this world. 77 years ago, a theologian activist, Dietrich Bonhoeffer, he stood against Hitler's persecution of millions of Jewish people. And he urged us there, silence in the face of evil is itself evil. God will not hold us guiltless. Not to speak is to speak, and not to act is to act. And that's what I challenge you to do today, to speak and to act on behalf of the millions of voiceless people like me still in North Korea, Iran, China, and many other countries, you name it today. Yes, 4 years of totalitarian rule and suppression, we even barely ask where is North Korea sometimes, but they haven't succeeded in destroying our hope and dreams. That's why I am here, and you are here, and we North Korean defectors and escapees are standing today. If I may, if I say, if it is a time, to bring a democratic rule of North Korea that values our human rights, freedom, expression, opportunity, and justice, please stand with us in solidarity. God bless you all. Thank you.